We don't see a lot of cb550s in this sort of condition. It's actually very, very clean, this one, and cases, etc. Hasn't been modded, so things like the dimmer still works as a dimmer, as you can see, and Squelch PA is still connected up. I'm just on an antenna at the moment, but there's not a lot of skip running, and as you can see, good transmit on this. Actually, I just had it on the power meter before, and working well. Hello, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2. Getting about 15 watts output. We'll put on a meter in a minute, but these were your typical Cybernet chassis. The reason a lot of people did sort of use this switch, this RF gain switch, for extra channels, and then the dimmer became the RF gain. So I'm glad that sort of not being done. One of the few radios that did have SWR meter, so you could calibrate and check SWR on the unit. So yeah, they were a nice radio. And of course on AM you had your little modulation light that 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. And pretty sure that didn't do anything on sideband, which would make sense being an AM modulation light, and that's it, just the meter on the sideband. But the Electrophone cb550, they were sold in bulk. There was a lot of them, and it's kind of crazy. I've got 4 or 5 of them here, but trying to find good looking ones, and this is still not perfect. You know, there's still a couple little blotches here and there, but certainly, you know, as close as it's going to get to getting something that's well, bar finding something new in the box. I've got a few Electrophones new in the box, quite a few, but not a 550. So they can be a little bit harder to find. But let's run it up through the meter. Now I'm being a bit lazy today on my little Yaesu YP150. We've kind of got a bit of test equipment being changed over at the moment, and we're bringing a new Hewlett-Packard in, and got to make some room. But anyway, just for the hell of it, hello. Yeah, probably 12 watts actually, you know, just over 12 watts on sideband. And AM we're getting just on 4 watts. So I would say this is actually not being touched up in any way, shape or form. Even the ALC, nothing's really been touched. This one actually has the original Electrophone microphone too, which they're the slimline one, which Electrophone brought out a lot of different mics with a lot of different radios, and they were all very interesting. But this was always the one I loved the most. Hardest to get to. They're not easy to get. Actually, I don't think we've even got another one like that. Oh well. I've got a box of about 500 or 600 mics. I've just got to go through it. So we'll find out what we have got and haven't got, but that won't be in any time soon. Anyway, that's just a quick look at the Electrophone cb550. Unfortunately, there's just nothing on as far as DX at the moment. It would be nice to see a bit more happening, but it is very, very quiet on 27 megs this morning. Sorry, this afternoon, just gone lunchtime. But who knows, maybe later in the afternoon things will improve a bit. All right, one Electrophone cb550. Electrophone is probably the most key radio. Well, not entirely true. They did do another. And when I say they did one other, they did quite a few others actually. But the Electrophone cb590 was also very, very popular. This one is one where we're going to have to make one out of the two. And it's really a catch-22. This is a bit of a bitzer in the fact that the 18 channel is actually quite a classic and quite original in the way it is. But we've got to make a decision, unless we can find another Electrophone base that's, you know, particularly not in great condition. On the top of this one here, as you can see, you know, it's unfortunately taken a real bubble through there, and of course then we've got this perfect one on the 18 channel. And sometimes it's really hard to make a decision because there's pluses and minuses. You've got a great 18 channel base which really is in, you know, pristine condition, and then you've got a 40 which is far from it. because your 40's got this problem here. But not only that, if you look closely, this is off a Chemtronic 40 channel, and as you can see, it's just not quite the width. It works, it does the job, but ideally it would be a disc that looks like this one here, with 40 channels, you know, very viewable. And see, that's the thing. This is a very clean, easy way to read. Here, you're really struggling. So we're not sure what we're going to do yet. There's a part of me thinks that we will probably keep the 18 because it's so nice, just as the 18. We've obviously got some work to do on the 40 if we're going to progress with that. It's a real pity about this, but you know, it will clean up. It'll clean up quite well. This one here, by the way, we haven't done a thing to. This has just basically come off the shelf, and it's working perfectly. And you know, it's a nice radio. And I've got to say, I'm really reticent to crucify such a good-looking 18-channel Electrophone just so that, you know, we can have a 40 that hasn't got this sort of marking on it. And the fact is that we are still going to have the wrong channel dial. So, not to mention, I think we've got a light that's a little bit out there, one side of it. I need to fix that too. So, but this was the Electrophone. Look, you know, good power, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, these things worked well. Great radios. If you were looking for the example radio, then the 18 channel is by far it. You know, it's just so much cleaner. The fact it's not a 40, you know, sometimes I think you've got to also recognise Australia's history with 18 channel radios. And I know Pete Newman has a big philosophy on this, and he believes 18 channel radios are very underrated. And I disagree with him for a long time. I was like, what's the point? Everyone's on 35. But no, there is a point, a historical point, and it's a good historical point. He's right. You know, so thinking out loud, I think this 18 will just remain exactly as it is. We'll put a bit of polish, you know, clean up some of the edges and that, and it'll be a really good example of the Electrophone cb590 in an 18-channel version. So, by the way, if anybody's got a completely wrecked cb590 with a good front panel on it, and then the impossible, the correct 40-channel disc, that is definitely the impossible. But yeah, look, certainly yell out, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. But anyway, so that gives you an idea. Just these are the older model 80s Electrophones. Of course, then they went to, you know, 560s, 472s, 470s, all the UHF, HF stuff that was completely different. This was the Cybernet-based gear, so this was probably the more fun stuff to have a play with, and certainly the more collectible. I've got, I don't know how many Electrophone later model radios, and to me they're worthless. No offense, but they're just worthless. They really are, because they don't really have a lot of heritage. They're there to show the period, but that's about it. All right, there you go. Well, 2 Electrophone models, was going to be 1, but I just thought, no, I'll pull out the base station as well and just give you a little bit of an idea. Certainly great radios in their time. Wish this had been digital. That would have solved a lot of our problems. That's for sure. But once again, there's a place for this. There really is, you know. And let's face it, you know, channel 12, lower sideband. If we all start using, well, 16 American, 12 Australian, if we actually started using that frequency a bit more, a lot of these radios would come to life a heck of a lot more. So maybe that's going to have to be the key. All right, 73s from VK3CM or JDW229. Thanks very much for having a look at this video. Cheers.